Good morning, welcome to today's RC Coffee Chat. Got a fresh one. Okay, on to today's topics. We have 6 topics for today. The first one, it turns out I wasn't the only person in the world who's been and fried some expensive kit. We'll get back to that one in a moment. Oh, inverted moisture inspection as well. That was an unexpected coolness yesterday. There is a new model out as well. We'll take a look at that in a moment. Oh, hexagon pattern for... Hello, keyboard. Hexagon pattern for the new Hornet FPV flying wing. We also had servo surgery yesterday, and today is a slope soaring day. So, let's get back to topic number 1. It turns out I wasn't the only one who'd been and fried some kit, and I'd like to say thank you to everybody who mentioned in the comments that they weren't the only one. Sorry, I wasn't the only one who'd been and fried some kit before. So yeah, we had a collection of video transmitters. Ron even commented he put his transmitter pack wired incorrectly as well. Jeez. Yeah, in short, I'm not alone, which made me feel a lot better as well. So I was really pissed off with myself yesterday, to say the least. As you may have been able to tell, I wasn't a happy camper about the situation. But it's been done. I can't do anything about it. I've got another one on order. It will be here with me sooner or later. And we'll see what chip I actually did fry and see if I can get hold of a spare one. And thanks to everybody's comments about using the desoldering wick and things like that to get it off. I'll give it a whirl. Well, worst case, it's going to cost like £1 off eBay for one of the chips. So, yeah, we'll give it a whirl. Next topic, a slightly more cheerier one. We went flying yesterday, only for about an hour or two. And there's me and Dave on the flight line going, those clouds are low, aren't they? I was like, yeah, they are. What happens if I go out that way and then bring the Micro Sky Hunter? And I've got to go really careful because I've nicknamed it something else. And it's definitely not Sky Munter. Anyway, brought it right round the back of the flying site and then just climbed and climbed. Well, I was climbing so steeply I managed to stall it. On 4S as well. It was nuts. Anyway, got it right up there and did some cloud surfing. Now, I have been through one cloud before, and it was this little lonely cloud, and it wasn't very big. And it was only in some DVR footage, so I never published it. But this was full on. Absolute craziness. And yeah, I've got one photo there, and I've got a video which comes out of this shortly. I don't know if I'm going to get to editing it this morning, but I've got a load of other videos to edit. But yeah, have a look at that. And I can tell you, there's nothing quite like inverted dipping in and out of the clouds. Absolutely brilliant. And there is a much better picture which I took from the video. Yeah, look at that. Will that max out? Yeah, look at that. Absolutely brilliant. I had so much fun yesterday, and that was the first time I've ever dipped in, well, inverted in and out of clouds. It was brilliant. And a big hat tip to Dave for following me line of sight as well. And yeah, those clouds were really shifting. I didn't realise how far I'd got back until, hang on, I don't recognise the ground here. Oh, yes I do, because I'd spent ages studying the field patterns, so if I ever did get lost up there, I would at least try and know my way home. And yeah, I was like, hang on, I know where I am, but what the smeg am I doing here? And because the wind was so strong up there, I got pushed way back. And yeah, thank goodness I did put a 4S battery in there. And yeah, we were just able to just power through and then just go up higher and just dip into the clouds and stuff. So there will be an episode about cloud surfing at some point in time. I didn't break through the clouds. That Micro Sky Hunter doesn't have any return to home features or any other advanced kit in it. It was just a pure FPV model. So I kept within the confines of what you should do, put it that way. But an absolutely fantastic day. Absolutely fantastic day. So a big hat tip to Dave for coming out for me on that one. Next topic, ZTerm Model. Now, I'd seen this on the Zeta website, which is newzeta.com or something, and there is a new model out. Now, I took a look at this, and frankly, and again, I've seen everybody's comments in the Facebook group about it. They genuinely like it, and it looks a really, really cool model. Don't get me wrong. But my experience now is that I've had a RadJet, and I'm kind of bored of it, if I'm frankly honest. And I'm looking at this one. And by the way, don't let my pessimism put you off this model. I bet it's an absolute corker. But my pessimism right now is that you can load her up with 2 EDF, or even potentially 3 EDFs in there. But what I'm kind of thinking, even if you did mount a pusher motor on the back, is because there's so much foam in front of the actual motor mount, is that it is going to be a bit of a loud one, to say the least. And yeah, it's fair enough, like the Micro Sky Hunter, that does get rather loud, but that amount of foam in the way of that propeller, it's going to make a lot of chompy noises, put it that way. And like I said, I am frankly bored of the RadJet. It just goes fast, and it goes vroom, and you can go up, go back down again, vroom, up and back down again, and that's all you can really do with it. I do like fast models, don't get me wrong, and you've seen me absolutely cane the living daylights out of many of a model, but then when that model's sole purpose is just to go ridiculously fast, you kind of limit what you can do with it, if that makes sense. You just go fast and just can't blink, and you have to keep to a very similar pattern every single time. So that's not on my shopping list, but it might be on yours, because it does, let's give it its due, it's pretty cool. It is made by Zeta, the people who make the Phantom, that's the FX61, the Buffalo, the FX79, the Wing Z84 as well. So really, really good manufacturer. It does look, actually, compared to the, I've got a picture of the hold in here, we do kind of, unlike the RadJet where it's just impossible to put anything inside of it, this one, it looks like there is, like in the fuselage, there is a decent space in there as well. So yeah, you could put decent amount of kit in there, but I'm looking at it going, I'd have to put an FPV camera right on the front of here. It's going to scream and rip the sky new one with loads of noise. I've got plenty of other models on the build bench, and that one just frankly didn't do it for me. But like I said, don't let my pessimism put you off what is a very sensibly priced model. Definitely does fall underneath my 50 quid budget. Let me have a quick look, change that, pound sterling, yeah, under 50 quid. It's not bad, just won't be on my Christmas list. Oh, and off topic, which didn't actually go, wasn't on the list. I keep getting asked about the carbon fiber. So, carbon fiber strips, so that's like the plate stuff, I buy from Easy Composites. My preferred one is the 1mm by 4mm stuff. That seems to be like the most versatile across all the different models. And when you buy 5 or more, it does get a lot cheaper at £2.20. So you save about 70 pence a piece. So if you do 5 pieces, then you basically get a piece free, but you do have to pay about 5 quid shipping, hence why I normally buy about 15-20 pieces at a time from Easy Composites. Absolutely brilliant stuff, and it does come in a meter length as well. Also on topic of carbon fibre, and again I'm just following on from a conversation in the Facebook group, I've bought absolute shed loads of this stuff. That's the 2mm carbon fibre rod. Only comes, when you buy from Banggood, it only comes in 50cm lengths, and the reason why it only comes in 50cm lengths is due to postage. So yeah, they got it in 2mm, 3mm. I've bought a collection of that stuff, a little bit more rigid than the 2mm stuff. There is some thinner stuff as well, which is 1.5mm. That stuff is better for, say, on the back of an Elevon on a model, because it's thinner, but you still get some rigidity in the foam. So I've bought that before. You can also get it in 4mm diameter, and again 50cm length. And look at the price points on it. Not that expensive. Oh, a little tip for you, when I've been buying the 2mm stuff, is that when you buy 3 or more, it does drop down in price. So what I do when I'm buying the carbon fibre stuff is that I normally buy it in 3 or 4s, something like that, so we get to the first price break on there. So instead of it costing $2.09 to $2.90, it comes out at $2.63 or whatever that is in pound sterling. But coming back, you've got 4mm. There's 5mm stuff as well. Banggood also do an 8mm piece. Never bought it myself because 8mm it's almost a centimetre. It's bonkers. That's like 1/4 of an inch stuff. Absolutely bonkers. So that was a topic which came up in the Facebook group, which I forgot to put in my list here. Oh, hexagon pattern for the Hornet Wing. So I'd seen this off Jeff's channel, so that's 7 Demo 7. You can look him up on YouTube. And he made this hexagon pattern on his, I think it was his Howdy flying wing. I've always thought it was really cool. So me being me, I said, well, I'm not very good at this. And I asked the wife, do you fancy cutting out, look, go and watch this video and see if you can go and print out some paper and cut out some things for it. And she cut out all that yesterday for me. Good girl. Even kept the hexagon squares. So my little Hornet FPV flying wing is going to have a hexagon pattern on there with pink and a grey, I think. We'll see. But I'm just gonna hand the project over to the missus to do. And yes, I will be using a VAR4 in the wing at the moment. And frankly honest, I made a complete screw up. What I should have done is actually mount that underneath, so we have like as best covering on the top as possible. But I've made a mistake, and I should have put that underneath the wing, because it would have been perfectly safe underneath the wing because the winglets are so big. So I have made a bit of a mistake with that one. And again, once we get that one done, I'll share my experiences with that. So if you ever get a Hornet Wing or get in a similar situation, you'll be able to learn from my screw up, which is that should have been underneath the wing and not on the top. Hey ho, we all learn. Servo surgery yesterday. So I have now officially killed I personally have only killed an extra Tower Pro MG90S, whatever it is, servo, those metal geared ones. I killed one myself. That was in the Weasel XP. It was completely my fault. I landed it inverted into a barbed wire fence, as you do. And the other one was Andrew smashed my Zac Speed to pieces in the sky. Pluto just went splat in the side of it and hit bang on the servo and stripped every single tooth off the gear. It just moved around willy-nilly by itself. So I now have been through 4 Tower Pro MG90 servos. The first one was sounded, just to give you a quick recap. The first one sounded odd, so I just ripped the lead off and threw it in the bin. The second one, I bashed my arm on the Elevon, and that stripped all the gears off. The Weasel XP, I put it in a barbed wire fence, inverted, that killed it. And the other one got smashed full pelt, pretty much by a Pluto flying wing on the slope, of which I did laugh very loudly at, because it was a really good hit by Andrew. So well done, Andrew. And it's Andy, which I'm going out flying with today on the slope. So yeah, happy days. Let's have a quick look. So I had to do a bit of repair work. Yeah, proper little dig out session. So that's the top of the Weasel XP. I made a mistake when I built this one as well. I should have put proper tubes or something down into the fuselage. That doesn't make any sense. Give me a moment. She's sat right here, ready to go. And I'll show you. Like I said, no edits on these coffee chats. They are what they are. And the missus has done an absolute fantastic job of covering up the surgery wound in there. She does make a fantastic nurse. But the mistake which I made is the servo leads. What I should have done is put tubes inside here to run the servo connecting down into the little fuselage plate underneath there. So what I ended up having to do, stick that over there, is that I ended up just having to chop the lead off about here, soldering up the connections, and then I dug out a little recess and then tucked them all back in again. And yeah, happy days. Oh, I did take a photo of that. Good boy, Matt. There you go. So you can see what I did. So I've mounted the servo. The servo got mounted in with hot glue. Literally just a little touch around the edges. The reason being I didn't go overboard on the hot glue is because chances of me breaking another servo in these wings is very high. So there's only had a little dab of hot glue around the outside, and there's glass reinforced tape going across the top to make sure it really does stay in. And on top of that, we've got covering film. So it's never really going to fly out or get pulled out unless it's a big impact. And again, I would know about that big impact anyway. So I soldered up the cables, I dug out a little bit of a trench there and just tucked them in again. Glass fibre tape in on top. I think I've got a photo of that as well. Yeah, plenty of glass fibre tape in on top, and then a fresh piece of covering film down on top of that as well. And again, it covers up like the nastiness which I made, or the hacked up mess which I made in there as well. What else have we got? Oh yeah, the Zac Speed, the one which took the absolute beating by the Pluto. It was really good impact. Well done, Andy. Very well done. Dug that one out and did exactly the same for that one too. Just dug the servo back out. Came out very easily compared to other models which I've welded servos in. And then just cut out a little trench. Dug that down again. And the missus did a fantastic job on that one as well. Look, you can't see, obviously you can see the tape which is around it, but this chrome covering film actually has like a grain to it. I don't know if you can see the grain. Let me zoom in a little bit more. There, look, you can see there's a grain to it. And my missus, like I said, she makes a fantastic nurse for my models, has done an almost seamless job on there. You can only just see the edge around there. The grain's perfect. So you did a really, really good job. And by the way, I do ask my far better half to help me with parts of the modelling, because she then genuinely does a better job at me in certain things. So happy days, happy days. So that was servo surgery. I am most impressed with the finished result. It went very, very well, and I can report back to you that all the patients are doing fine, and I will rag the nuts off them today on the slope, which brings us on to the last topic of today, which is today is a slope soaring day. So we're off to Hounsfield Beacon, which is up by Stroud here in the United Kingdom. It is, how would I say this, a challenging slope. So our other main slope is a place called Maze Knoll, which is really nice. It's just a big, like a medieval fort, and the air's typically always clean, and when it comes up over the slope, it comes back down the other side, and you can land very easily. There's a very, very large landing area, and there's not a lot of like downforce trying to ram you in the ground like you experience at Hounsfield Beacon, which is that slope is typically very wild. It's a very steep walk back down to go and collect the model, and when you bring it back over, geez, if you get it wrong, the wind just goes bang and just smashes the model in the ground. So it's an interesting flying site. First time I went there, I was a bit 50-50 on it. Been there a couple of times now. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So it should be, I think, who's coming up? It's myself, it'll be Doug, Andy, and Dave is also coming up on the slope as well, by the looks of it. So that's going to be good fun. And you probably met Andy and Doug in a previous episode. It was called A Beautiful Autumn's Day Slope Soaring. If you look it back up on the YouTube channel, you'll see what our autumns are like here. And yeah, we got rather wet. So, quickly recap what we've covered today in today's RC Coffee Chat. Thank you for all of your comments about, and it genuinely did make me feel a lot better to hear that I wasn't the only person in the world who's been in fried kit. I've never fried a transmitter yet, but I'm sure the time will come. The inverted moisture inspection, wow, absolutely brilliant. I can't wait for you to get the video up on that one so you can share in the experience as well. It was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And by the way, I've got to do that again. Inverted, just ducking in and out of a cloud. Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. We do have a new model. I'll put a link to that in the video description for you. Don't let my pessimism put you off. I've just had a similar model to that before, and I got bored of it. That's just my experience. If you're into your EDFs or you think it looks well cool, it is well cool. Don't get me wrong. I would probably be quite happy chucking that one around the sky if I hadn't had a RadJet before. And by the way, I am comparing it to RadJet because it's the nearest thing which I've had. A little tip for you, what I would do if this was mine, and if I had this right now in my hands, is on this model here, that carbon fibre strip which we mentioned, I would definitely have some down the nose area as well, and down up underneath the nose too, just to give it a little bit more rigidity. I'm sure this one's probably well more behaved than the RadJet for landing, which I like break the nose off. The nose would just snap off, and they've got these funny little nodules on either end of the wings, which always break off as well. So little tip for you on that one. Definitely get some carbon fibre strip in those as well. We also mentioned about the carbon fibre strips. I'll put links to all those items in the video description for you. The hexagon, that is going to look so cool on the side of the Hornet Wing, and she's sat here next to me. That's going to look amazeballs. We had servo surgery, which went very well. Quite happy with the results. Well, they're all perfectly flyable today, so that's happy days. And today is a slope soaring day. Happy days. So on that note, if you are out flying today, have a fantastic day's flying. If you're not out flying, I will put a battery in there for you, but there is no motors on these. But I can assure you, I will dip the model downwards and absolutely cane it. And I will personally do my best to knock Andy out of the sky just for you. Whether that happens or not, because typically his models are a lot bigger than mine, it's going to be very curious. Mind you, just after it was a second flight after a maiden, I did knock Andy out the sky with the Weasel XP. So yeah, only on a second flight. This thing's a very cheeky little wild thing on the slope, and she is, by the way, missing her elevator fin. That just gets stuck in with pins on the back. It's crazy. She just loves to go bank, bank, and you can do it in such a little tight space. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go now. At the end, I'm going to put a video in the closing scene, and I'll put it in the video description as well, which is one man and his weasel, and you'll be able to see the kind of fun which I had with that model. And that model cost me like 25 quid, something like that. Absolute peanuts, absolute peanuts. So I really am going now. If you're out flying, have a fantastic day. If you're not out flying, I will do my best to knock Andy out the sky just for you. So with that said, from myself, Matt, thank you ever so much for joining me today for today's RC Coffee Chat. Oh, and those of you, I saw a lot of questions about what time do you record these episodes? It is 04:53, and I've been up since about 3:10 this morning. I'm just a morning person, so that's the way it is. So on that note, from myself, Matt, cheerios!